Hello, hello. Today, now I know this isn't usual for this channel because usually I just react to Jo JoJo Part 8 JoJolion, but I realized that I'm not really gonna go anywhere, or I'm not planning to become this big shot JoJo YouTuber like Shuckmeister or Hamon Beats, but I wanted to do something different than just wait a month, react to the next chapter, and then you know go off on that. I wanted to try something different. Now I know some people have tried to do this before, such as I forgot his name, but he analyzes each individual JoJo stand. But I forgot his name, but he does really high edit videos that I can't do. So instead of just going over the stand itself or the abilities, I want to go a little more into it. I want to talk about it, just discuss it, and then at the end I'll give it a 1 out of 10, which is something that guy doesn't do. Well, I know he does do, but he does it like the whole part instead of going dissecting each. You know what I mean. Okay, so how this works is that not just I'm going to do 1 through 10, but I want to talk about slightly, just a little bit of the history, the design of it, the abilities, obviously, and the review end section, and then just some other things about it. Oh, and some misconceptions from the community and jokes that I think are a little dumb about that stand or user. Oh, and we're looking at the user too. So so how this is going to work again is I'm going to be doing this from the first stand appearing to the end, and hopefully I think the first stand that has actually appeared is Star Platinum, and today we are going to be talking about Star Platinum. So first things first, this is part 3. Part 3 is when the stands itself are kind of underwhelming, because actually Araki planned part 3 to be the last part of the entire series. Imagine if JoJo just ended in part 3. It would have been actually satisfying. Probably more satisfying than most other parts, but it would have been odd though when you think about it. You have first two parts are all about Hamon, and then you could just get the stands. Unless he was planning to go all out into like part 8, to like multiple parts with stands, and he had to think of something to replace Hamon. Because, and maybe his original plan was to just make it so Hamon would be in all 3 parts. It would be interesting to see Jotaro use Hamon, by the way. That would have been interesting. So let's get into the user first. So this is Jotaro Kujo. He's one of I would say the poster boy of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'll be honest. He is the poster boy, even though he's not with us during part 7 and 8 because of, New Universe Reset. It's quite interesting how popular he got, just because he was just being an edgy kid to a father, deadbeat dad kind of, and you actually get to see a progression of his attitudes and his kind of the way he works, and his and I think the reason why a lot of like people make fan art of him crying over Kakyoin, because he's just such this stoic character. He's something more than just this edgelord. He's a complex character, and I really like, although I was really held out on how Araki used him and I was kind of like, I didn't really like how Araki used him in part 3. I really liked how he used him in part 4 and 6, not 5 because he just had like one scene with Koichi. But by Jotaro's design, he changes all the time, goes from black to white to white to black again. But I don't really want to go into character design, but his stand's name is Star Platinum, and is one of the few stands that are based off of a tarot card and not a music reference like Tusk or D4C, which are obvious musical references. These are based off of tarot cards, and if you don't know what tarot cards are, before you watched JoJo, you might have heard some middle-aged mom talk about it, because it's one of those, oh, what's your symbol kind of thing, but it's like an Egyptian version of that. And tarot cards are supposed to be this weird death thing, like Death 13, and a while for the first half of Part 3, Araki wanted to use tarot cards because it was to Egypt, and that was the whole theme of it, Egypt. Um, so let's go to Star Platinum's design. Design is solely based off of a Aztec, obviously, and actually interesting because the whole point of the stone masks was Aztec, and I think it's interesting how Araki thought, oh wait, how about since the whole origins of the stone mask, along with Dio's transformation, all leads from just the stone mask. How would it be cool to end the whole stone mask vampire thing with in part 3, which would be part 3, with the whole the main character's ability looks like an Aztec warrior. That it makes sense from that point of view. A lot of people in the community have been saying that I don't know why people say this, but that Star Platinum is Jonathan. It is not. Okay, now here's the thing. I only believe like 15% of the theory, and it's not really even the theory itself that I believe in. The point is that I want to talk about is people actually think that Araki said, "Oh my God, this is the soul of Jonathan after he reincarnated into Star Platinum." No, I do not think this. I think this makes no sense at all. I think it's just really I want to say dumb conclusion because I don't think the JoJo fan base is that dumb. But then again, I've seen Haman Beats tweets of some people who they can get pretty bad. But I honestly think that Star Platinum. No, I think that Star Platinum looks and somewhat acts like Jonathan because of karma. I think Star Platinum kind of looks like Jonathan because of karma. Because wouldn't it be cool for someone or something to look like Jonathan, the man who almost defeated Dio? The man that Dio admired so much that he stole his own body, a stand that looks almost identical to him, to kill him. I think that's what Araki was intended for. Not for him to be reincarnated. No, that's dumb. I think it was solely for the intent of, the whole point of karma. I think it was karma. And so I don't think it's a soul, but I think it's like the motif. I think it's the motif that Araki used. And I think that's why he made it look like Jonathan, even though it isn't. So what else about design? Besides that, it's a humanoid stand, short range distance, CN range, and stats. So I know that it has a CN range, like most of the typical stands in Part 3, and an A in everything else. And I think Araki during these times didn't really know stance. He still doesn't know stance stats. I mean, look at Hermes from Part 6. But so I'm talking so much here, and my mouth is just drying up, and I just ran out of soda. Amazing. Anyways, so everything else is A. And I think it actually makes sense why it's A. All of it is A, except the range, obviously. But I think it's A because this whole point of Star Platinum is to be extremely precise, strong, like Mr. Incredible. That's what Star Platinum is. It's literally Mr. Incredible, except it can punch extremely fast, doing the aura thing. Or at least that's what his initial abilities were. You could arguably say Star Platinum's true ability is Jotaro himself, because he's incredibly intelligent. Even in parts 4 and 6, even if they nerfed him when it comes to intelligence, they still made him insanely intelligent. So there's that. His secondary ability is Time Stop. Now, here's the interesting thing about Time Stop. Is that the concept of Time Stop, unlike any other time manipulation ability, it changes depending on the user will and training, which is weird for time manipulation abilities. So the more he uses it, the longer he can go, just like Dio. But the more he stops using Time Stop, some of it actually goes away until he practices again. So that's why we see we don't know how long it is in Part 3. I think it was hinted it was same as Dio's, 10 seconds during that time, because he just got it, so it's like a rush of energy. Then in Part 4 he never used it, seems like, so it actually would way down to 2 seconds in part 4, which actually kind of screwed him in some scenes. And then in part 6, it went actually to 5, so you can actually see he actually probably trained a little bit there, or for a lot. I don't know how long it takes for someone to train like that in part 6, which I think one reason why Rocky made it part 6, extended it, was because he needed time stop to be used in a way where we know Jotaro was thinking in during the Pucci fight, the final fight, obviously. And another reason is that it makes sense because, I guess as Jotaro ages and he got older, he realized that the importance of time stop, I guess, and how busted it was, which makes sense because it makes sense because in your younger years, you're kind of cocky. Even though he's still 29, he didn't really have true responsibilities yet. And so I think during between parts 4 and 6, he realized that I need to train for this. I not end up like Joseph with Hamon and just do nothing with my ability and not train. So he actually trained. And also it seems like interesting because in Dio, I think it's a cool thing that Araki made it so when Dio does time stop, the effects, it's all around his body. Because, it shows how prideful and egotistical Dio is. And with Jotaro, though, on the other hand, he isn't as prideful, egotistical, so it just comes from the gem. So, which means that, and I think that just really shows how humble Jotaro is. Even as simple as the time stop wave coming out of the gem, this tiny gem from on Star Platinum's forehead, is a motif in itself. My English, my media analysis teacher. Yes, I have a teacher for media analysis in my class. He said that even if it's not intentional, it's still something you should talk about. Like even if the director didn't add something as like, oh, like this is what I want to show my fans, and this is what I want to like show the character growth and difference between these characters. Even if it's not intentional, it's still cool and interesting to talk about. Now, interesting enough, it also seems like, and it's been proven with part 6 with Jotaro, is that the older you get, the potential actually decreases. And it's not, and I don't think it's just because it reaches its max potential, and I think it has to do with age, and it makes sense as humans age. People they get old, and eventually the body breaks down. I mean, that's just life itself. So I think it makes sense that the potential would wear off after, like, at some point, because I think Jotaro was like, what, 40 something or 50. He's pretty old. He's kind of old in this. I mean, he's not old, but like he's getting there in part 6. But yes, I think time stop is an interesting way, although it's so common, it's used so many times in media. I think it's okay in this case because he managed to make it not too broken, but broken enough. And I think Star Platinum is a stand that is a perfect example of broken but not too broken. So what shall I give it? What kind of I mean, is there anything else to talk about besides Jotaro? I don't want to spoil too much about his character growth because I just don't want to. And I know that some part skippers do watch YouTube, so I got to be careful on that. I don't want people spamming in the comments saying you spoiled it for me. Oh my, you caused everything. You ruined my life. No, I don't want that to happen. So we talked about the design, which was also, it's like the colors are weird because it's like purple, blue, and yellow. It's very abstract colors to use in what you usually use when like unlike her Kakyoin stand, where there's like, okay, it's like 2 colors and it makes sense, but so Platinum is very abstract color design. But besides that, I think it's time to make a 1 through 10 review. I think so. How would I rate it? So like 10 would be a masterpiece. 9 would be like crazy good, amazing. Sorry, 8 would be like good. 7 would be average. Then 6 would be kind of bad. 5 would be getting really bad, and then you know the rest. I would give Star Platinum. I'll be honest. I'll give it a good 7. I think 7 is a good number to put it at. It's not an 8. And I think it's solely due to the fact that time stop is just used in so many ways that to in media and pop culture to the point where people kind of get bored with time stop nowadays. It's or time manipulation in general, and I think the time manipulation review stand when I review all the time manipulation stands, it's kind of going to go knock down things a peg because a lot of it's getting old. It's getting old. Time manipulation is getting old to the point where Rocky just abandoned it after part 6. Thank God, because I couldn't handle if every single main villain had a time manipulation stand. My God, I would be I would not be as into JoJo. I'll be honest. But yeah, I just wanted to do something different. Just a my thoughts on Star Platinum, and I'm going to do this for every stand from beginning to end, ending with Wonder Review. I think I'm debating if I actually should do something with Wonder Review. Um, yeah, probably Wonder Review. Maybe I don't know if it's going to like. Tuvu is going to be defeated by the time I get to that stand because I don't know how much I'm going to be uploading these. I'm probably going to upload once per day, and I just see how the YouTube algorithm sorts it out. Oh, by the way, we got like 12 subscribers. Remember when I joked around about 80% of my subscribers? I talked about well, we got 3 subscribers, and then for some reason it just spiked. My sub count spiked for some reason. Now I don't want to obsess over subs because then you get into Comedy Shorts gamer levels of egotistical. But I didn't expect to get that many subs from that video. I did not accept that. Also, I'm going to be editing this video because I actually found a free online video editing thing that I can use now. So that's going to be cool. I'm going to be using eye catches, fan-made eye catches. I will put the links down in the description. Please, please, after you're done watching this video, watch their video. Please. I want my video and view to contribute to that person's view, and I don't want to get copyright striked, by the way, too. So I'm gonna have to be really careful of like what music that person used, because if they're gonna use something like the Beatles, like for White Album, I do not want to use that in my video because I would get that video removed or something weird would happen. Well, I'm gonna have to like mute the entire that segment of the video. So yes. Well, I think that's all to say. I mean, Star Platinum is it's a great stand to have in real life. Its stats are too busted, but makes sense because, especially how they presented it, how it's strong, agile, swift, precise, just a Mr. Incredible stand. And, but yeah. Anyways, bye. I still don't know how to like end my videos, but I'm just gonna say it. Hope you had a good day. Ciao. Actually, I think ciao is gonna be the next one. Ciao.